Wonderful to see you today. We're going to make sure we're in tune, so we're going to see our G, our high G string. You can tune right up to me, or use your tuner, or go online. If you don't already have a clip-on tuner, the store here sells them. They're wonderful and they're inexpensive. They take a battery it comes with, and what it does is it helps to get our mind around the notes. So when we're looking at the actual notes we're playing, like this G, looking at the tuner saying G, G, G really helps. Also, when we're doing spider exercises, you'll notice when you play a C sharp, it will say C sharp, and then a D sharp, an E. You'll learn, sometimes you'll think one note is like a B flat, and it'll say A sharp, and you'll be like, what? And the idea is, well, if this is an open A string, this is A sharp and a B flat at the same time. I just don't call it a B flat when I'm not talking about the key that it's relative to. So in the key of, I don't know, F, I would call it a B flat, not an A sharp, because I would have F major, G sharp minor, we'd have B flat right there rather than having just a A sharp. So what we're going through is the G, the C, the E, and the A string. And what we learned when we sharpen notes, that's basically what we're doing with our spider exercises. These make our fingers nice and strong, and they give us a little bit of coordination between the two fingers. So when you're doing your spider exercises, they look perfect on your left hand. As soon as you move that first finger to the next string, whoop, that's when this hand goes from this high G over to that C. What you'll notice is when you're playing your 1, 2, 3, 4, an often easy overlooked idea is to take your finger and play through the note and let that finger whap right back on the string below it. In this case will be the high G. So when you get to the E string to do the F, F sharp, G, G sharp, that finger when you do your pull off should be coming back onto the C string. It doesn't always have to, but that's a type of mute, and it's a way to know the distance between these two strings and be comfortable with that, all right? So what we do in an event like this, we see these fingers moving up, and then this finger needs to switch while this finger goes to switch. What happens when we do these over and over again, and we go from our pinky on the 4th fret on the A string, and then start again with our first finger on the G sharp or the A flat down here. What happens is we get these feelings of these distances between these two, and then that helps us judge where we are on the fretboard. There's other little caveats which we'll go through when we learn them as they come up. But for this week, when we're playing our chords for this, or not our chords, but our half steps here, bear in mind what we're doing with these is quite literally just going do, 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 do. If we didn't go over a note and we just went up the note linearly, we would just have do, boo, boo, do, 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 do. And that makes an octave. So 1, 2, 3 groupings of 4 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4 is one grouping, 5, 6, 7, 8 is another, and then 9, 10, 11, 12. So what we do is we develop muscle memory just for this kind of thing. So when we get up here and we're playing a chord like this, up here we'll also be using the same types of fingers, and our hands will be moving around the same way. That might be a little over the top, but the reason why is when we learn the F major and the A major and the G major and the C major, or the C major, we learn these to use different fingerings. So we have certain fingers open or certain fingers open. This teeter-totter method allows us to play the same chord while putting down a finger with our pinky somewhere for rhythm, and then moving that same chord to move it backwards the other way on both sides of the chord that you're using. So when we move these chords, it's not as if this chord is always just, oh, that's the C chord. There's no difference from a C sharp when you're barring all the chords. It's just where you put your fingers. And all of this is derived out of patterns. And these patterns we're learning have personality. So this first one, C major, is a major. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, do, do. The re A that comes do, re is C to D. It's a whole step or a major second. So C to a C sharp, that's a minor second. That's a half step or a semitone. The next step is going to be considered a minor second plus a minor second equals a major second or a whole step or a whole tone. So when we go whole tone, half tone, whole tone, whole tone, whole tone, half tone, we're seeing the movements from one point to another using a major chord, a minor chord, a minor chord, a major chord, a major chord, a minor chord, a diminished chord, and then another major, which is the same as our first. C major, D minor, E major, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and C. And the reason why is if all the songs we ever knew were in just majors, there were no minors and diminished in there, the chords would all be kind of lame and blasé. There would be really no expression, because with the minor, major is a happy, it's a bouncy kind of note that makes us feel really happy and energetic. And then a minor kind of has a melancholy, sad kind of feeling, much different than a major, which is very happy. A minor is sad, somewhat lackadaisical and melancholy. So when we use, no matter what key, let's say we get out of C, we go to G. G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp diminished, G. Each one of those had, this is major, minor, 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 major again, minor. And then our lending tone, which helps move us, our F sharp diminished, back to our G major, our 1. So what happens when you practice these chords over and over and over again? Your fingers start to see patterns, and they start to recognize that, maybe unbeknownst to you, but your fingers will feel comfortable playing on the 1 through 4 fret and then being like, boop, stopping, knowing that that's the F note. And what happens over a period of time, you associate that the open E string is also E at the 4th fret on the C string, and that the open A string is also an A at the 5th string on the E string. Flat there, you hear that? So what we do is we sort of have chords which are triads, which you know of, 1, 3, and 5, and then we take those to make minors by flattening the third from a major. What's the third in A major? A, B, C, D, E. If you know your first finger is on a C sharp, but you don't know if it's a C sharp or a C, you definitely now know the difference between a major and then a minor. So if you've got a chord which has 2 fingers and you know you have to flatten the third, you could have taken this A and flattened it to here, but that's not a minor. That is. So rather than just showing you every chord, we're putting the tool in the tool bag to be able to access these yourself. The chords that we're going to go over now for your secondary lesson, lesson 2, I'm going to play along with you. I'm going to tell you what the chord is before we start, so know the chords, and then we're going to go through a small pattern. We're also going to introduce one chord that we didn't go over today, but it's quite easy to find out. Your A major, when you remove the C sharp, as I said, A major has a C sharp first finger. A minor is only playing the second note on the high G, and all 3 are open. What we're going to do is we're going to incorporate that because it sounds pleasing to the ear when our lessons happen. So, what I'd like you to do is see how when you play the A major, this lesson 2 is going to be this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Once you have the A major and you can play it on every one and you're keeping this right hand going in, rhythm playing only on the 1, the mental thought you should have is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I would suggest even saying it out loud while you're doing this. 3 and 4 and 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1 and 2 and 3. You can give it inflection and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. The only thing you want to do is make sure that that 1 and is very much a part of what you're doing in your brain. Because what we're doing is we're going to be switching our chord on the and. So A major, when we switch to our secondary fingering of A major on the and, we could go back and forth between a teeter-totter right here, using our second and third finger and our first and second finger to play both the C sharp here and the A on the 1. Now you switch using your second finger and your third. What this does, when we get good at doing just this back and forth with this rhythm, we move this 1 and 2 to a B flat, 2, 3 to a B, 2, 3 to a C, 2, 3, and play C open. This whole process registers our brain as seeing half steps and whole steps, and knowing that some chords have bar chords and single note chords, and you can play them all over the fretboard as soon as we get these structures. A major is one of them. F major is the other. So the chord buildup for today is C major, our old chord, A major, A minor by removing that C sharp, and then our F major. The next chord we're going to have that we went over puts our first finger on the C string, the thickest string, right? The second one away from your nose. First finger on that, and then we're going to put our second finger bookend, and then our third finger on the G string. So we're going to have D, B, and G. Now granted, with every chord, we can play these two different ways. These are teeter-totters. First finger's off. So take off the second, put first where it is, take off the third, put second down, take off the fourth, put the third. Each one of these motions should be a replacement and a removal. And what happens in the beginning is when we're doing our 1 and 2 and, when you move on and, it will be very slow in the beginning. But if our right hand keeps 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, you're going to have all that time to, sorry, I missed one, play these fingers that go onto the notes that we already know. And what's going to happen is they're going to layer to this, then this, then this. And eventually, when you come on the 1, once you get better at making the chord, it's not going to be as hard to layer them, and you're going to start putting them at the same time, thusly taking 1 and 1 and 1, 1 and 1 and 1, then having 2 come together and 1 falls on. Then all 3 are just going to be able to move back and forth at will. That's the process. Stacking hours. So what we're going to do, or stacking minutes really for these. So what we're going to do is I'm going to play the rhythm of the C, the F, the A minor, and then the G. A minor has no C sharp in there. It's just pleasing to the ear for your practice. If you had all majors, as I said, it would be flavorless. We're adding a little flavor. So we're going to do just our rhythm 2 for lesson 2, all right? Or rhythm 1 for lesson 2. Whole note. Ready? 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and F and 2 and 3 and 4 and A minor, 2 and 3 and 4 and G major and 2. Now back to the C major. C and 2 on the and I switched and F and 2. I'm gonna play in the A minor. Now and G major after 2 and 3. For this one, I'll be quiet. And 2 and 3 and 4. Say the switches. Switch. 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 Great job. So C major, F major, A minor, G major. And that could be a whole bunch of things. So it's fun. songs are just made out of 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord, 4 chord. When you put them together like that, you can have thousands of songs which have just those 4 chords. I'm very much looking forward to our time together. Keep going up with these spider exercises. Remember, get rid of that thumb on the right hand and play with our first finger. We're going to be going up, and make sure when you switch this finger to here, that you switch this finger to here. Try and get all the way up through these at least 3 times where you get to the 4th note, and then keep going. So when you get all the way through this, it's just one fluid motion. And I know I'm going a little bit fast here, so I'm going to keep going a little bit fast, but you can slow down this episode up in the top right-hand corner with those 3 dots and adjust the playback speed, and play these at speed, which will look more like 0.70. It will be like this. Right? So when you go through these, they'll actually be at that speed that you could work with. Then move up to a higher speed. It was wonderful seeing you. Great job today. We got 4 new chords: F major, G major, A major, and A minor. Awesome. I'll see you next week. Aloha.